Okay, this time you see Miss Jones. We're trying all this out this year, so hopefully it'll work itself out. You see Miss Jones instead of listening to Miss Jones only, you can see me. And of course, Miss Jones can't see you at this very minute, but hopefully you can enjoy. We are now on Unit 7, and we're on Unit 7, Week 3. We're on Week 3. And the story or the text that we will be tackling this week will be The Bear Snores On. So I'm going to show you just a little picture of The Bear Snores On. If you can see it, it's right here. That's a picture of course, we have it on our easel. But I wanted to show you a picture of The Bear Snores On. Later on, you will hear about the title of the book, the name, not the title, I'm sorry, the author of the book, and the illustrator of the book. And keep in mind, illustrators do what? Illustrators draw pictures, or they take pictures and include them in the stories. And an author does what? Yes, an author writes the words to the story. Now, the kind of genre that the author used this time is fantasy. This will be a fantasy story. Fantasy stories have some characteristics. Really quick, fantasy stories are made up stories by the author. Fantasy stories use those made up characters to talk or maybe do things that me and you do in real life, but we know those things can't really happen. That's what makes them a fantasy story. Okay, so Bear Snores On is a fantasy story, which we will be reading. And always, always keep in mind that when you read a story, you want to think about what is the big question. Well, we've been studying about habitats, which is where animals live. So we want to make sure that we are thinking about, as we're reading this story, what are some places that animals live. Okay, so when we read the story, what are some places that in this particular text, where does animals live? And there's some few words that are in the text that I want to go over with us really quick. And that's going to be in a separate video. You won't see Miss Jones, but you will hear Miss Jones. And we're going to look at some of those vocabulary words that are in the book before we actually start reading, okay? We'll click through. So hang tight for just a second. Back, this is part 2 before we start reading our new text, Bear Snores On. I wanted to go over some vocabulary words with you. So we're going to begin with the first word. And the first word is dank. Mouse squeaks. Too damp, too dark, too dank. Dank means cold and wet with a bad smell. Dank means cold and wet with a bad smell. Another word that I want us to look out for while we're reading the story is the word brew. "Ho, Mouse," said Hares. "Long time no see." So they popped white popcorn and they brew black tea. Brew means to make a drink such as tea using very hot water. Brew. To make a drink such as tea using very hot water. Another one of our words, and let me click to it, is, wait a second. The word is scuttles.
A badger scuttles by, sniff snuffs at the air. A badger scuttles by, sniff snuffs at the air. I smell yummy yums. Perhaps we can share.
So scuttles means move with quick and tiny steps. So that means the badger moved with quick and tiny steps. That's what scuttles mean. The next word I want us to go over is lair.
In a cave in the woods, a slumbering bear sleeps through the party in his very own lair.
A lair is the home of a wild animal. So this will be a lair. A lair is a place where wild animals sleep. It's a home to a wild animal. Another word I want us to be aware of as we read the story is stokes. Let me find that word.
Hare stokes the fire. Mouse seasons stew.
The word is stokes. Stokes is how an adult pushes logs into a fire to make it burn faster. So it's an action word. Stokes means for an adult, not a child, to push logs around so that the logs can burn to make fire, and it will burn at a quicker pace. The word is stokes. So those are your 5 vocabulary words: brew, dank, lair, scuttles, and stokes. Now that we have gone over the vocabulary words, the next thing we're going to do is read our story.
Bear Snores On by Karma Wilson. Illustrations by Jane Chapman. In a cave in the woods, in his deep dark lair, through the long cold winter, sleeps a great brown bear. Cuddled in a heap, with his eyes shut tight, he sleeps through the day, he sleeps through the night. The cold winds howl, and the night sounds growl, but the bear snores on. An itty-bitty mouse, pitter-patter tiptoe, creep-crawls in the cave from the fluff-cold snow. Mouse squeaks, "Too damp, too dank, too dark," so he lights wee twigs with a small hot spark. The coals pip-pop, and the wind doesn't stop. But the bear snores on. Two glowing eyes sneak peek in the den. Mouse cries, "Who's there?" and a hare hops in. "Ho, Mouse," says Hare, "long time no see." So they pop white corn, and they brew black tea. Mouse sips wee slurps. Hare burps big burps. But the bear snores on. A badger scuttles by, sniff-snuffs at the air. "I smell yummy yums. Perhaps we can share." I've brought honey nuts, Badger says with a grin. Let's divvy them up, cozy down, and dig in. And they nibble and they munch with a chew, chomp, crunch. But the bear snores on. A gopher and a mole tunnel up through the floor. Then a wren and a raven flutter in through the door. Mole mutters, "What a night! What a storm!" twitters wren, and everybody clutters in the great bear's den. They tweet and they titter, they chat and they chitter, but the bear snores on. In a cave in the woods, a slumbering bear sleeps through the party in his very own lair. Hare stokes the fire, mouse seasons stew. Then a small pepper fleck makes the bear ka-choo! He blows and he sneezes, and the whole crowd freezes. And the bear wakes up. Bear gnarls and he snarls. Bear roars and he rumbles. Bear jumps and he stomps. Bear growls and he grumbles.
We will call you down. I apologize for in the middle of your story, guys, but some things happen, so please be flexible. So I'm going to allow this page to be reread to you. Listen up.
And the bear wakes up. Bear gnarls and he snarls. Bear roars and he rumbles. Bear jumps and he stomps. Bear growls and he grumbles. You've snuck in my lair, and you've all had fun. But me, I was sleeping, and I have had none. And he whimpers, and he moans, he wails and he groans, and the bear blubbers on. Mouse squeaks, "Don't fret, don't fuss, look, see. We can pop more corn, we can brew more tea." Bear gulps, bear gobbles, he sighs with delight. Then he spins tall tales through the blustery night. When the sun peeks up on a crisp, clear dawn, Bear can't sleep. But his friends snore on.
And that is the end of your story that we will be looking at this week. So I hope you enjoyed. Please feel free to go back and look at those words or listen to the story again. Those words Miss Jones was speaking of is the story words such as brew, dank, lair, scuttles, and stoats. Thank you once again for listening.